Well, next Tuesday, voters in Greenville will head back to the polls to vote again in several runoff elections. There are 3 runoff races for Greenville County Council seats. We have District 20, 22, and 25. Fox Carolina's Kennedy Harris has been following the races for us. She gives us a breakdown of the runoff results and what candidates are on the ballot.
3 county council incumbent candidates have already lost re-election bids in the primary. The same thing happened 2 years ago. It seems to be a trend, but will it continue in the runoffs? The first runoff is District 20, where incumbent Steve Shaw had a lead on challenger Alex Reynolds in the primary.
I really do feel like I've tried to take the time to get to know our community, understand its challenges, and really launch a campaign that is solely focused on really advancing those priorities down the field.
Reynolds is a Taylor's resident, serving as a leader with many community groups and organizations. His focus, controlling growth and managing infrastructure to keep Greenville green.
Part of being a conservative is being oriented towards the rule of law and what do those ordinances and those land development regulations say. Right now, I don't think they're written in a way that is very reflective of how we want growth to proceed in Greenville County.
Incumbent Steve Shaw says he's not worried after seeing 3 of his colleagues voted out because he voted no on increasing property taxes.
Incumbents that lost are the ones that voted for the tax. And the voters have overwhelmingly said, we need you to stop looking for raising taxes as the only solution.
If re-elected, he's sticking to the same script, urging for development moratoriums when needed and an audit of county spending.
I voted exactly the way I ran. I ran as a conservative. I ran against that I would not raise their taxes, that I would scrutinize every bit of spending and look at some of the things I was able to do.
The next runoff is District 25, where incumbent Ennis Fant led over challenger Derek Quarles. We're still working to speak with Quarles with more on his campaign, but according to his website, he's been an advocate and community leader since high school. He's campaigning on 6 key issues, including increasing affordable housing by zoning reform and public-private partnerships. Incumbent Ennis Fant says the 2 of them don't compare.
My opponent and I are not even in the same zip code, period. I chair affordable housing, I chair planning and development, I'm on the SC-TAC board. We've brought $2.8 billion in economic investment to District 25. 2,400 new jobs.
Fans hoping experience will put him in the best position to lead.
We've got work to do. We still got to fix the roads in Greenville County. We still got 250,000 people coming over the next 20 years, and we're still going to need bold, visionary leadership to address the issues that come along with that type of growth.
The last Republican runoff will be for District 22, where Frank Farmer will face Jay Rogers. The winner will face Democrat Corinne DeBatey in November. Kennedy Harris, Fox Carolina News.
And we have a link to each of the candidates' platforms at foxcarolina.com so you can read more on their stances and their platforms. And as county council runoffs heat up, one candidate for District 22 addressing accusations made by his opponent. Today, Frank Farmer held a press conference where he accused Jay Rogers of having a conflict of interest while being on the County Planning Commission. Now, the accusation revolves around a proposed Stratford Place affordable housing project. Farmer claims Rogers did not properly recuse himself, showing an email allegedly between Rogers and another Planning Commission member saying, quote, "So much for handling things quietly."
My opponent has a conflict of interest with the Stratford Place, and I just don't think that it's fair that we are going to end up paying for something that my opponent is going to be profiting on.
Now, we spoke with Jay Rogers to get his side of the story. Take a listen.
He talks about a project that I was an investor in that came in front of the Planning Commission, but I recused myself from voting on it, had no involvement in the discussion about it. And the project itself involved no taxpayer money, no tax incentives, no tax credits from the county, the state, or the federal government. So I really would love to hear from him exactly what the conflict was. I did everything by the book, according to the ordinances of the county for dealing with Planning Commission matters where you have an interest.
And we'll be following this race very closely, as you can imagine. The winner of the Republican primary will face Democrat Corinne DeBatey in November.